So thanks for coming, everybody. Appreciate you finding time after happy hour and after free drinks and food to come sit with us for a little bit. My name's Barbara Kessler. I'm a senior manager for global APN programs. I see some familiar faces in the room here today. Also speaking with me is Teresa Uthrault, who is Director, Global APN Program, so you're going to get to meet her a little bit later in this session. So this session is intended for existing partners. So show of hands, is everybody in here registered as an AWS partner? Everybody, anybody not currently a partner? Okay, so I will keep that in mind as we go through a few things. The content here is really more focused to speak to those of you who have a foundational understanding of AWS partner programs, partner engagement, et cetera. We're also going to cover in a little bit more detail some of the things you heard Doug and Sandy and Stephen announced during the keynote earlier today. So first, I want to kick off by talking a little bit about the growth and momentum that we are seeing as a business that our partners are a really critical part of. So coming out of our latest earnings releases, we have hit $64 billion annual run rate as a business with 39% year-over-year growth. We have more than 200 fully featured services available to our customers and partners. And our global footprint is across 81 availability zones in 25 regions, with several more planned to launch in the coming year. So great global reach that we're continuing to expand on, new services and features, continued acceleration in our revenue growth. Partners are a critical element of that growth, and we are seeing the same and in some cases faster rates of growth with our partner community. Today, we have more than 100,000 partners globally across 150 different countries, with more than 70% based outside of the United States. So we're seeing really great global representation in the partner community. And our growth as a partner network is not slowing. We still see more than 50 organizations join the APN on average every single day, and we've seen that growth rate for about 3 years now. Right, so we don't see that slowing down. As new startups enter the market, we're seeing lots of new partners join and look to engage with us. Some of that growth and engagement and different types of partners and evolution and what all of you are doing has really contributed to some of the evolving program decisions we're going to talk to you about also. We've also, in the last year alone, seen hundreds of thousands of opportunities together between AWS and our partners, representing billions of dollars of business together. And specifically, we've seen really great acceleration in the last year in the AWS sales organization sharing opportunities to you as our partners. Specifically, we've seen more than 2 times growth year over year in the volume of opportunities shared from AWS to our partners. I want to share a great partner example with you. So OutSystems is a full-stack application development platform. They've been working with AWS since before we had a partner network. So they've got about 14 years of AWS experience, have been with us since the very beginning, and joined the APN when we initially launched it in early 2012. They were originally a technology partner, and then transitioned to our ISV, or now software path, when we introduced that earlier this year. Participate in the Amazon RDS Ready program, so they have that technical validation of their product to help elevate their visibility with sales and customers. And this year, they deployed the ACE CRM integration for ease of communicating opportunities bilaterally with the AWS field sales. This year alone, since implementing the CRM integration, more than 1,100 opportunities have been shared between AWS and OutSystems. So really great growth and momentum that we're seeing with a long-standing and well-established partner. So as we get into some of the updates and announcements that Teresa and I are going to talk to you about, I want to talk about how we arrive at some of these decisions and evolution. And your feedback is a super critical element of that. So we work closely with our partners to understand how you're evolving and growing, what you're seeing with your customers, what you need from us in our partnership together. And one of the things that we've heard from our partners is that you want us to make it even easier to work together, right? So easier engagement models, more simplicity, more clarity in which programs and resources to leverage at what time, and how we can continue to remove friction from the process together so that we're focused on going to market and selling together. And that's where we're spending our time in our partnership. So those of you who attended the keynote or watched it on the live stream will have heard Doug announce that we are introducing 4 new partner paths, actually coming in late January. We are building upon the momentum that we established with ISV Partner Path that was introduced in January of this year. We saw an opportunity to evolve how we provide engagement and a journey to ISVs who are working with AWS. Since we launched that first path, we've seen an exponential increase in the number of software solutions that have completed a technical review or technical validation, so that we are able to promote those solutions more effectively to our shared customers. We've also seen hundreds of what have been our consulting partners who were able to now participate in our software path. We've seen hundreds join ISV Partner Path and pursue technical validation of their software products, and then also achieve competencies and other differentiation related to their software offerings. One of the key things that we are evolving with this program structure is a shift from our traditional focus on a partner type. So all of you are familiar with the consulting and technology framework that we have today. With this announcement, we'll be retiring that framework and replacing that with partner paths. What we have seen in working with you and working with our customers, that you don't neatly fit into a silo as necessarily just a services company, just a software company, just a hardware company. And what we see is that our partners are spanning across the different things that we used to think of and categorize as types. So we are introducing this model to not just simplify the experience, but actually to give you more flexibility to participate in as many paths as are relevant to your business without being confined to a partner type. That's also why we're updating the name of the ISV path to software path to really emphasize that focus on an offering type versus a partner type. We've also made quite a few investments in improving our partner experience through Partner Central, and I'm going to show you a couple of user experience and navigation changes that we're making in support of this announcement. So what are partner paths? So let's start here. Those of you who are familiar with the ISV, now software path, we are introducing a little bit of an evolved structure to that so that we can provide the same path progression framework across all 5 paths that we're offering to our partners today. So regardless of which path you're on, you will see the same progression stages, but the specific milestones that move you across stages may vary or does vary from path to path. The first stage is registered. This is very much what registered is today, very similar. You create an AWS partner profile, and you gain access to initial content, resources, and benefits. Enrolled is when you have selected a specific path, at which point you'll be directed to a path-specific navigate track, which we'll also take a look at in a moment. Confirmed is the point at which the APN fee, the annual APN fee is charged, and where you start to gain access to financial benefits as a partner. Validated stage varies. How you achieve validated stage varies a bit from path to path. So if you're on the software path, for example, we mentioned the Foundational Technical Review, or FTR. That's what helps a partner achieve validated on that path. On the services path, it would be achieving select tier. So for those of you in the room who are consulting partners who are currently at a tier, you will retain your tier. The label and naming of it will evolve a bit in the new model, and we'll take a look at that. But select tier is what unlocks validated stage within the services path. This is the point at which partners have the ability to go to market as an AWS partner and where you earn badging as a partner. And then differentiated stage is accomplishing any of our differentiation programs, such as service validation, MSP competency, and the well-architected partner program. And this is where you unlock access to the deepest benefits and committed resources from AWS. So let's take a look at the detail of a few individual paths so you can see what more specifically this will look like. So this is our services path, and you can see a list here of resources, content, benefits available as soon as you register as an AWS partner. This is where you gain access to blueprints and quick starts to help you create and develop new solutions. You gain access to a wealth of content through APN Navigate for enablement. Also, you can gain access to credits and discounts for training and certification. And that is the back button. This is the forward button. So the next stage is enrolled. This is where you will say, yes, I see that this path is recommended to me. I want to enroll in this path. And you'll be presented with that path-specific Navigate track that I mentioned. At confirmed stage is where you start to unlock some deeper benefits, such as promotional credits, access to Innovation Sandbox, and some of our programs that are designed to help partners who are getting started, like our Global Startup Program, our Partner Transformation Program, and our Think Big for Small Business program that you may have heard Sandy Carter talk about in the keynote earlier. Upon validated stage, which is achieving select tier, this is really where you unlock access to the deeper benefits and programs. So select tier will still be prerequisite for some of the downstream programs that you may want to participate in. This is where you become eligible for ACE referrals, which is opportunities generated from the AWS sales team shared to you as a partner. Eligibility to apply for competencies, managed service provider program, service validation, and very importantly, this is the stage at which you gain access to the AWS Badge Manager in Partner Central so that you can create badging to go to market as an AWS partner. And then at differentiated stage, again, this is our deepest level of benefits. You may have heard mention earlier about the really cool new game day benefits being made available to partners for technical skills development of your own teams, as well as a really cool way to generate demand and interest with your customers. As well as committed marketing development funds. You may be aware that for our differentiation programs, upon achievement of those, you earn certain increments of MDF dollars, as well as increased visibility to our sales teams, to our customers through our different search tools. So this is really where you have the best visibility with customers and AWS sales. So let's take a quick look at software path. You'll see that a lot of these at registered, this is the same list of really important benefits. It does start to change a little bit once you've enrolled in the software path. So there are tools to help partners prepare for the foundational technical review that will be available to you, as well as the software path-specific Navigate track. At confirmed, again, you'll start to see a little bit of change here in the specific programs that are going to be relevant to a company who's building software on or integrated with AWS. The SaaS Factory program is a great example that it is to help partners who were building their software as a service on AWS. And at validated stage, you'll see some familiar labels here, but what will change, what will vary by path is like if we look at competencies. Today, when you go in to apply for a competency, you see the whole list of competencies that may or may not be entirely relevant to the type of offering that you have. As a partner in the software path, you're going to be presented with the competencies that are specifically relevant to your software offering. So really curating and focusing the programs and resources and making it easier for you to navigate and find what's going to be most important to you. And then again, at differentiated stage, the specific designations are going to be different within the software path, and the details of how some of the benefits are delivered vary a bit too. Also, with this change, we are for the first time introducing a more complete experience for companies who build hardware or devices that are integrated with AWS services. We currently have a device qualification program that will be a part of this path, as well as a navigate track specifically for companies building hardware and devices, and some specific tooling and resourcing for these businesses, as well as the competency and service validation designations that are specific for hardware businesses. So I want to give you a quick preview, too, of how this impacts partner badging. So we are refreshing our overall look and feel of our partner badges and changing how some of the terminology shows up. Because as you know today, your badging says, I'm a consulting partner, I'm a technology partner, and here are my earned designations. We are evolving that. You'll be able to use a badge that simply says, I'm an AWS partner, or you'll be able to list a single earned designation on the badge, or provide a list of multiple designations at the partner organization level. This capability will exist in our badge manager tool inside of Partner Central, so you'll be able to create individual badges for different use cases. So if you're building a web page and want to sort of feature your broad relationship with AWS, you could use the multi-designation badge. Or if you're building an asset for a specific event that maybe is really relevant to your healthcare competency and your advanced tier, then you can simply indicate those specific designations. So I want to give you that flexibility to build badging that you can use that makes sense for your individual use cases. The certifications badge listed below is a continuation of what's available to you today with just a new look and feel. So this is the badge that you can use as an organization that says, hey, we as a business have 50 certified individuals within our company, or 250 or 500 will still be available at the same increments that it is today. The difference is if you have any of these badges today, they're emailed out. You'll actually be able to generate these within the badge manager tool come January. The new badging system we're introducing is this offering level qualified badge. So I mentioned the device qualification program. So that's an individual piece of hardware that goes through a technical validation to be qualified on AWS. So a partner who completes that for an individual product will be able to use this qualified device badge alongside their listings of that product. We're introducing the same for services upon completion of that for software. Upon completion of that foundational technical review, you'll also be able to use this qualified software badge. So again, more flexibility to say, hey, for this asset or this use case, I want to feature my partnership. Or in this individual use case, I want to feature that this software product is qualified on AWS. So like I mentioned, feedback from our partners is a critical part of how we think about and evolve our programs and resources, and was from the beginning of our journey in creating partner paths throughout this year, as we've worked with partners in the ISV path, and we've worked with many partners to help sort of refine our design for partner paths as well. Innovative Solutions is a great example. They actually made premier tier consulting this year, and had some really positive feedback for us about how they envision this improving their experience as a partner. So I want to show you a few of the changes in the user experience that you can expect as a result of this program shift. You'll see in Partner Central that we've continued to make investments in enhancing different areas of capability, such as ACE enhancements. You may be aware that earlier this year we introduced new ACE roles that you can add ACE users and ACE managers to your profile to help manage your customer opportunities. We've streamlined how our differentiation application process works, so that's a more simplified and cohesive experience. And I'm going to walk you through some Partner Central user experiences that you'll see in Partner Central very soon. So the first is path enrollment. So as a partner, Based on what you offer to your customers, we'll recommend specific paths that we think are going to be relevant to you. You'll be able to click on the Details tab or the Get Started tab here to learn more about what is available to you within this path. So this slide is, this screen shows you a more interactive view of those slides we looked at a moment ago with the different columns. So at each path progression stage, what resources, what benefits, what programs are available to you. You can take a look at that sort of all mapped out together and click into those links in a really interactive way to learn more about the programs, learn more about how to apply or how to move forward. The Get Started button on that summary card takes you to the Navigate track. So those of you who might have been familiar with Navigate content before know that when we initially launched our minimum lovable product for Navigate, it was PDF checklists of things for you, resources for you to go to, things for you to consider. This has been evolved now into a more interactive resource that you'll be able to go back to. You can start at the beginning of the Navigate track, work all the way through to the end, or you can simply go into the individual modules that are most relevant for what you're looking for at the time. Partner scorecards are also being updated to have more clear calls to action and more interactive capability. So you'll be able to click into any part of your scorecard for more information or to take action about it. Specifically for the hardware and software paths, there's a concept of a product validation, and those have a shelf life, right? Typically 2 years. But what we want to make sure that partners understand when they may have expirations upcoming. So that little green validated clock will start to turn red to say, hey, you have 90 days, here's the action you need to take. Click here to take that action. So we want it to be more intuitive and a little less reliant on you simply knowing that something's coming up to expire. Don't want any surprises, so we're building some more intuitive functionality into our scorecards. So those partners who are, for those of you who are already registered, you can update your offerings as a partner at any time, and this is available today. So even though our services and training path aren't launching until January, you can go into the View My APN Account feature that is in the upper left-hand corner of the homepage in Partner Central, and navigate to My Company Profile and add additional offerings to your profile. Once you've added these offerings, you'll see that card we looked at that said Recommended Paths. You'll see a path recommended for each of your correlated offerings. And you'll be able to more easily check your progress through these summary cards on the home screen. So once you've enrolled in a path, you're going to see this summary card for each path that you're participating in. You'll see at the top, across the progress bar, which stage that your company is in on that specific path. And then be able to click into the scorecard for more details, find your way easily back to the Navigate track content, or go to that overview benefits table so that you can explore other programs and resources. So big question here, I suspect, is how does this impact you, right? So you're established partners. What does this mean, and what do you need to do? So aside from updating your profile to tell us about offerings that we may not be aware of today, there is no action required from our partners. The migration to this new program model will happen automatically. And I'm not going to read each of these bullets off to you, but I want to point out that you can see the before and after, depending on your current status as a consulting or technology partner and the tier that you currently fall into, and you can see exactly what that will map to in future state. So no action required from our partners to accomplish that. And the other really important point I want to make sure is clear is that no designations or benefits that you have earned will be removed. So if you have a competency today as a consulting partner, you will still have that competency in the services path. If you have MDF dollars loaded in your wallet, you will still have those MDF dollars. So very intentionally, if you have worked hard to participate with us and earn a specific designation, you will retain that in the new model. So no action required, and all benefits and designations will be retained in the new model. So I'd like to actually invite Teresa to come up and talk to you about how we're thinking about evolving the value and benefits that we provide to partners who participate in some of the programs we've talked about. So,
Great.
Teresa.
Thank you, Barbara. Hey there. So I'm going to walk you through some of the other new programs and initiatives that we've launched this year that we're really excited about, and I think that they're going to increase value and benefit for our partners. In the beginning of Q4, we launched 2 new incentives for our channel programs, the Solution Provider Program and the Distribution Program. And these were in response to partner feedback. Partners told us 2 things. One, they asked us for a rebate. They said, hey, we would love rebates. It's a great way for us to invest into our business. And we'd never had a rebate in either program. They also told us that they saw an opportunity to invest further in existing AWS customers to accelerate their adoption of the cloud. So in response to that feedback, we launched the Partner Growth Rebate, or PGR. And it is a rebate that recognizes partners when they grow their existing AWS program accounts, and it's payable in AWS promotional credits. And the partner-originated discount, which replaces the existing new business discount, this recognizes partners for winning new customer opportunities. And we saw an opportunity here to expand the definition of new business to include early-stage AWS customers, giving our partners more room to develop new business. And with both of these incentives, we think they'll be powerful levers to help our resale partners grow their business with us. This is a new benefit for our differentiation partners that I'm super excited about. Doug mentioned this in his keynote, and Barbara mentioned it earlier. And it's something that we actually had in beta, and we launched first with our service validation partners, and it's called the Game Day League. And with the Game Day League, we host a bunch of game day events. And in the game day events, the technical teams from our partners compete against each other in real-world scenarios. Each game day event focuses on a specific area, such as migrations or security or sustainability. And in this gamified experience is run by our solution architects. And they provide coaching and one-to-one feedback to the participants. Because it's meant to be, it's super fun and engaging, but it's also a really great learning moment, right, for hands-on learning for technical teams. We got terrific feedback from our partners. And based on that, we are going to be extending it to all our differentiation partners, which is something we're really excited to be announcing today. So that means if you've earned an MSP designation, if you've earned a competency, if you've earned a service validation designation, your teams will be able to participate in a game day event. Partners told us that their teams raved about these experiences, that they found it a fun and engaging way to get upskilled. They really appreciated the one-to-one exposure to the solution architects. They also told us that they thought it was a really great lever to retain their technical talent, which is something that we think is a super important objective for all of us in the tech industry right now. Building upon this partner feedback, we took this even further, and we decided to develop the Game Day Quest Builder, which we think is a fun, innovative sales tool. Our partners can create individual modules or quests around their specific solution and embed it into a game day event with AWS services. They can use this as a sales tool with their customers because they can run basically a simulated game day event with their customers' technical teams. And it gives the customers' technical teams an opportunity to really test drive the solution and see what it's about, again, in a super fun and engaging native way. So this is, again, something that we're really excited about, that we'll be able to provide this to all the partners in our differentiation programs. Last year, we announced the AWS ISV Accelerate Program, which is our signature co-selling program for our ISVs. We're continuing to invest and grow this program for next year. This has been such a critical program for our ISV partners. There's several great features about this program. First is that we have financial incentives for the AWS sales team when they support our ISV partners in launching opportunities. We also give our AWS sellers goals to partner with our partners on co-selling. Partners in this program enjoy important visibility with the AWS sales team through enablement, events, and tools. We also provide the partners in this program focused co-sell support and resources to ensure their success in co-selling. And we reduce the listing fees for partners who sell their solutions and transact on the AWS Marketplace and the AWS Data Exchange. Another area that our partners are continuing to get benefits from is investing in training and certification, which is foundational to being successful with AWS. A new commission study with ESG showed that investing in this area yielded important benefits for our partners. We had 750 partners participate in this study, and they came from North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific. And they shared the following insights with us. The vast majority said that investing in training and certification had improved their competitive position in the market. They also told us that their customers are looking for AWS certified partners. That's who they want to work with. They told us that their teams are innovating better because of this investment in their training, and that they're also realizing operational efficiencies for their customers. And finally, they also told us that they view that this investment in their team's training and certification was helping them with recruitment and retaining. Again, that's strategic technical talent. That again is so critically important. Partner specialization drives success with AWS, and this is something that I'm sure many of you hopefully are participating in our differentiation programs, which really give you an opportunity to highlight your expertise and prove your customer success. Just as a quick reminder, the three programs are the Service Validation Program, which validates certain AWS services, the Competency Program, which validates technical expertise in workloads, industry, and use cases, and the MSP or Managed Service Provider Program, which validates a partner's track record and experience managing end-to-end solutions for AWS customers, regardless of where they are in their journey to the cloud. We had a couple of exciting launches in this area. You might have heard in Doug's keynote speech, we launched the AWS Graviton2 Ready, Service Ready designation. And this ensures customers that a partner's solution can be built on AWS Graviton instances. As Doug explained in the keynote, customers who are looking to migrate and accelerate their adoption of the Graviton instance are looking for software that's compatible with that. And doing this essentially helps increase their performance significantly and thus reduces their expenses. The energy competency, which was announced by Sandy Carter in her keynote speech, was one that was pre-announced last year at re:Invent, and so we're super happy that we can formally announce it this time around with those first launch partners that Sandy congratulated. We're seeing demand for innovation in the energy sector. Customers are looking for partners who can help them leverage technologies such as cloud computing, IoT, AI/ML to accelerate innovation in this space. And this will help them be more efficient operators of their existing energy assets, but also to develop new assets in renewable and sustainable energy. We saw an opportunity to add application modernization to our migration competency. In a survey from CIO.com, 80% of CIOs told us that application modernization needs to be an integral part of cloud adoption in order to achieve business agility. So with this launch, customers can now choose partners that can address this critical need. And earlier in the year, we continued to invest in new competencies to support new growth areas. And we've launched 4 new competency areas earlier this year. And as we continue to innovate in our services and you continue to innovate in your offerings and our customers' needs continue to evolve, you should expect us to see launching new competency areas to support that. The Migration Ambassador Program also launched in November. It recognizes individual partner sellers who have mastered migrations to AWS and the Migration Acceleration Program. This is foundational expertise for success on AWS. Sellers complete a business-oriented curriculum that focuses on AWS best practices and tools for customer migrations. Individuals earn a digital badge reflecting their expertise in successfully supporting our customers in their migration to the AWS cloud. So what's next? We'd like to leave you with a few calls to action. One really critical thing that you should do is you should update your company profile in Partner Central, something that Barbara showed when she walked you through the CX. This will help match you to your paths, and it also will help in tools that our sellers and our customers use when they're trying to discover partners that they can work with. Explore and enroll in all the paths which suit your business, now that you've got the flexibility to do this in a seamless way. You can also leverage APN Navigate for enablement. This will give you prescriptive guidance on all the different steps that you can take and help you prioritize the different programs and benefits that you might unlock. Achieve the validate stage for the path that you choose. That's a key stage you might remember from Barbara's presentation so that you can start to unlock benefits. Know your superpowers, differentiate your strengths. Really, that is the single most powerful lever you have so that customers and AWS sellers notice you and partner with you. And finally, engage with our AWS field teams to co-sell to customers. This is where mastering ACE, which is the backbone of co-selling at AWS, is a really important step to navigate this last phase of co-selling. If you'd like to stay up to date, these are some resources that we'd like to share with you. If you go to our website, and that you can explore all of our partner resources. There's that homepage will connect you basically with every program that we have. Reading the APM blog is a really great way to stay on top of what we do. Anytime we launch something new, any new initiative, we will create a blog post on APN, so it's a great way to stay up to date. We also feature partner success stories there, which I think can really be inspirational and give you great ideas of actions that you might want to take. And finally, you can learn more about your funding benefits by logging into Partner Central. And there's a great section there where you can explore all of those and understand which ones make sense for what you're trying to accomplish and what are the requirements to unlock them. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for coming in this evening session. I hope you guys found it helpful. And if you can, we'd love for you to complete the survey. Tell us how we did. We love feedback. It helps us figure out how to improve our sessions for next year. And really, create the kind of content that you guys find useful. So thanks again for your time today.